Have you noticed things about yourselves recently? You know, just stuff. How you feel when you listen to somebody's imparted information, or when somebody has an opinion about something which isn't conducive to yours. Have you noticed how you feel? Do you feel sort of like, you know, you're a bit agitated and a bit out of sorts and somewhat angry, and you want to refute what is being said, and you've got no level of acceptance for it? Do you ever look at those feelings and ask yourselves why that is? Because we need to do that, you know. We need to introspect, and we need to question why we are feeling in such a way. What is it about some words that make us feel in a certain way, and other words will make us feel in another way? Then once we've started to investigate this thing, this phenomenon, which of course is human psychology, then we start to realise that, well, we've got agencies inside, programs, and the programs and the agencies, they're invariably very powerful, and they've been growing throughout our whole lives. And most of them are due to culture, they're due to how we've been programmed, and what information has been inculcated to us on an ongoing basis. And so those of you that are a little bit wise to this, then you'll have some sort of a handle on where I'm coming from and what I'm doing. Most people, they won't discover, they won't introspect, they won't think outside of their own imprisonment, and they wouldn't be prepared to listen to someone like me saying the things I do, because it invariably just rubs against the grain. It's just not a pleasant thing to think about, because it doesn't seem right, and they can't envision what that new world would be like. And the vast majority of people, they don't want new worlds, do they? They want the same world. They want the pizza shop on the corner always to be a pizza shop. They want to know that, you know, if they drive a couple of blocks, then there's a McDonald's, Golden Arches that are going to be there. They don't want it to be changing all the time, goalposts moving all the time, and things like that. So, you know, one of the things that's striking to me is that there's no support for what I'm espousing here. There's no support for the realisation that this is inevitable. In actual fact, there's only been one person that's, you know, sort of opined that in a comment, that, yeah, you know, it appears unavoidable, inevitable, as far as he was concerned. And for those of us that have done a lot of reading and a lot of investigating, then it should be starting to become very, very apparent. And those of us that haven't done this vast amount of research, people, a vast amount of research, then you will still be rejecting it, and you will be thinking that you have a position of power, and that you are autonomous, and that you won't be doing this and you won't be doing that, when, you know, as I've said in previous videos, if you just reflect and just open your minds and just imagine, because we don't know so long ago, but how many people stated that they weren't going to be paying tax, and they weren't going to be having to present identification? You see, this happened in the beginning of the World War II, 1939, in Britain. Everyone was requested to carry papers. and, well, probably lots of people didn't want to do that and didn't comply, and they would have suffered the ramifications of that if they were asked on the spot to produce your papers. If they didn't have papers, then they would have been arrested, and doubtless they would have been held in custody for some time, and ultimately fined, and you know, this sort of thing. And so all these things that you don't seem to have a level of awareness, the vast majority of people don't have a level of awareness how we have been imposed with a legalese name, you know, in all capitals. It's a legalese name. It's not our birth name. If you look at your birth certificate, your Christian names, not your formal names, your Christian names, they're written in lowercase. But your family name is written in higher case, because that's the member of the clan that is already had been inaugurated into the legalese. And so your parents would have been, let's say, Mary and John Smith, and it will say on the birth certificate Mary in lowercase, John in lowercase, and Smith in higher case. And so then you will become a Smith in higher case, and then when you have your documentation from the state, it will all be in higher case, because they suck you into the hive mind and they state that which is their legalese, and if you accept it, then you accept the consequences and ramifications, and you accept also the benefits of it, people. Because by accepting your state name, your slave name, they will give you a driver's license and a passport in your slave state name, and then they will give you a tax code under that, and then you are legally permitted to work and receive revenue in the system, and via the system you will be paying tithes to the state, you see. And so everybody's accepted that now. Everybody walks around with their IDs in the pocket. Everybody walks around with a mobile phone which is registered with the powers that be, and they can check and follow you everywhere you are on satellite. They know exactly where you are, and people are like, I'm not having digital ID, then they're going to know where we are, and they will be able to prevent us from doing this and doing that. Well, they can already prevent you from doing an enormous amount of stuff. And you know, if they get a court order, then they can have all the details, all your personal information, your banks and this, that and the other. And so we're really only one stone throw away from the Borg hive mind, people, from being chipped. The digital ID isn't really, you know, anything over and above what you already are under. You're under massive surveillance, and if the police wanted to find you because you've been putting something on the internet, this, that and the other, then they can do that. They most certainly can do it, and I'm telling you now, they can track where you are, and they'll be on you within an instant if necessary, if they deem it necessary. So we're already in this hive mind, people, and all your thoughts are hive minded. Look at how you vote for one and hate the other. That's just hive minded, isn't it? It's indoctrination, and it's so preposterous, it's completely ridiculous that people haven't even worked out that two wings to the same bird. It's always been the same bird, people, forever and ever. It's been the same bird. What part of that don't you get? And there's kind of like, yeah, well, at least that one, he smiles nice, or he's wearing a nice suit. Now one wears the baggy horrible suit, and I don't like the baggy horrible suit. And stupid things like this. It's really stupid things, isn't it? You know, because you should know by now. You all should be absolutely clued up by now that whatever politician you vote for, whatever they are claiming and promising you that they're gonna do, they have no intention whatsoever to do any of those things unless it serves them in any shape or form. And as soon as they've been inaugurated, they don't do any of those things, do they? And so, come on, people. You know, it's ridiculous. But the human being is ridiculous. And so, looking at the numbers now, the numbers, you know, they've seriously dropped because people just can't stand this level of truth. Even though, you know, they come on to the internet channels like mine because they want to discover truth. And they want to listen to somebody like me because I appear to be speaking sense. And yet when that same person is saying something of an equal magnitude, then they throw their hands up around their ears and their eyes, and you know, they're unsubscribing and they're running away and all this sort of thing. But one thing that's significant is when I started along this, you know, theme, there were 14 subscribers unsubscribed. Now they've all come back, save for 5, and those 5 will be back, because once you have checked in to the Awakened Brave, you can never check out. It's like Hotel California. You can check out, but you can never leave. And so you can not watch the Awakened Brave. You can even unsubscribe, but the Awakened Brave is here. The Awakened Brave will always be here, and then there's always going to come a time when you are going to have to come back. And so lots of the viewers now are taking a break because they need to assimilate this. They really do. They need to think long and hard about this, and with the constant reiteration of what I am saying, it's just too much. It's too much at once, and so people will go away, and then maybe they'll hear a little bit of this from somebody else and a little bit of the same from somebody else, and they go, yeah, that's what the Awakened Brave is saying. Only the Awakened Brave is saying it fucking much more condensed. He's not fucking around. The Awakened Brave's not fucking around. He's not bowing down to the viewer in that the viewer is heavily policing what they say. No, the viewer isn't policing what I say in any shape or form. I'm saying 100% what I feel must be said. And the only entity that can police me on this channel is the CEOs of YouTube, the algorithms. And as long as I'm not speaking about certain prohibited subjects, then I'm okay to say all this stuff. And so what I've discovered, and what's been reiterated, is that everyone 100% feels victimized, feels like a potential victim. They've got victimhood embedded indelibly in their psyche. They feel that they are being threatened. They're in a very threatening environment, and you know, the walls are closing in, and the surveillance is becoming more and more, and they want to surveil us more and more, and they want to do this and they want to do that. Well, yeah, they do want to do that. They do want to do that. But then we have to ask the question, well, who's they? And you may think, yeah, well, it's them, it's Bill Gates and, you know, George Soros and, you know, X, Y, and Z. But then I think you'll discover that even within your family, there's going to be at least 50% who want to do that also. And they will be saying, yeah, well, I think it's going to be a good idea, because if you've got all your data in one place, if you get sick, if you have a car accident, they're going to have your blood group, they're going to know what medications you're on, they're going to know what family members to call. Yeah, there's going to be lots of benefits. And so most people are not looking at the benefits. They're only looking at, like, yeah, well, if I'm watching porn, they'll be able to see me and they'll come and arrest me. You know, I don't know, probably something like that. Or if I'm working on the side, then they can look into my bank account. Well, people say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, you've got nothing to worry about. And then of course there are that sector which just don't want to be surveilled. Well, okay, yeah, fine, you don't want to be surveilled, but you want everything else that society offers you, don't you? You want your electricity, you want your clean water, you want your safe environments, you want your jobs, you want your property, you want your money, you want your credit cards, you want supermarkets packed with stuff from all over the world, and you don't care that people are working for $1 or $2 a day in sweatshops just to provide you with copious amounts of shit that you just don't need. You want all that, don't you? Yeah, you want all that. But what you've got to realise is people working in these sweatshops, they want stuff too. And they want some of the stuff that you've got. And they want some of the stuff that you just throw away and have no mind for. And then you'll buy a pizza for 15 quid when you've had a few beers, and then, like, you know, you'll have a scoff on 2 slices, you'll fall to fucking sleep, and then in the morning you'll throw that in the bin. You won't even fucking put it out for the birds. And yes, there's lots of people who would love a slice of your pizza, by the way. And so the Western society has become very, very spoiled, and it's unsustainable. So the whole world has to be a little bit more equal. Things have to be shared, and that's why the powers that be are introducing all of these ethnicities into our cultures, because they know that the world ultimately has to be one culture. It has to be one coffee-coloured species. It has to be one religion, and it has to come under one governance. And this is a very logical, reasonable and rational way, because it's going to eliminate so much of the frustrations and the hates and the differences and the xenophobia and all that sort of stuff. And so how many of you think that you're brave and you're strong, and yet you feel victims, you feel victimised, or you feel the squeeze? Well, if you were really brave and strong, you won't be bothered about any of it. Like me, I'm not bothered about any of it. I just see the inevitability of it. My mind is like, of course this is going to happen. And well, what do I feel about it? What do I care about it? Well, I mean, there's going to be pros and there's going to be cons. Just like there is now, there's pros and cons. And one thing's for sure, when AI fully gets a seat in, it's going to give rise to emancipation for millions of human beings. Well, I'm already ahead of my time. I've been emancipated on universal income for many, many years, and I intend to stay on it for the rest of my life. And that is a wonderful thing that's afforded to me by the state of Great Britain. Where else in the world could I go and live in such luxury? Goodness me, people, I'm very, very grateful. When I needed a hip replacement, within 6 weeks I was in a private hospital, and I was on National Health. Because the National Health were busy, because I was young and strong, they thought, well, we'll get this one in first because we've got more mileage from him potentially. So I went in and I had a hip replacement absolutely free, and then I have everything medical free, and my eyes and the glasses and everything. It's all free. Therapy, free. House, heating, water, beer, steak, free. Everything's free. So what do you think I have an issue with that? And then if you go, well, yeah, you're a sellout, awake and brave, well, what have I sold out? I'm as free as anyone can be. I spend 24 hours a day doing exactly what I want to do. And it's my choice to move in smaller circles these days. I don't have hundreds of thousands of pounds in the bank like I used to have, and I can't travel endlessly around the world, but I don't want to, because I've done all that. So, and now at my time of life, I've got my cake and I'm eating it, and I'm having a wonderful time. So this affords me the facility, like a philosopher, just to look at the world in a very calm, unagitated state, and just to look at where the world's going, because I can put all the pieces together. And unlike you, I'm not afraid of the future for my children. I'm not afraid of the future when my business goes pot, because the huge corporations, you know, saturate the market with cheaper wares. I'm not afraid of anything. You're full of fears. And you know, a few of your comments, they're not going to do this to me, and I'm not going to have a digital ID. Well, I mean, why not? Why not? Yeah, well, they're going to, well, they already can. Yeah, they already can. What do you think the digital ID will give them what they don't have now? And you could say, well, purchasing power, I've got purchasing power because I can use cash. Okay, you can use cash, but cash is going to be abolished within most certainly 5 years in any case, isn't it? And so all these things that you think you have, you don't really have. You're just clinging on to a vestige of something, you know, it's a bit like a mirage. You know, it is kind of here, but it's not really here, is it? You know, it's going to be gone, you know, in an instant. And so it's the natural way of the world, people. And so, you know, all I'm doing is I'm trying to give you the opportunity to open your eyes. So, yeah, the whole thing about being a victim, it just embrace your cosmic consciousness. That's the root of what you are. I think too many of you are too invested in the human being. Yeah, well, me, and they're gonna do this. And you see, the thing is with me, right? And I would think with people that have suffered great hardship, they're not going to be worried about anything. People that have been in war-stricken countries and everything like that, they're going to go, digital ID, fucking hell, come on, bring it on, great, no problem at all. What, free healthcare and, you know, supermarkets full of goodies and safe streets and no bombs coming out of the air, and yeah. You see, this is what it needs, people. It needs the greatest of levels of trauma before people start to appreciate and respect anything. And so, can you imagine if you had people from Gaza coming into our countries? They'd just do anything. They'd be 1000% complicit because they'll be so happy and so grateful for whatever they've got. And whatever they would have under the digital ID or the chip is going to be vastly better than being bombed and watching their families get their fucking limbs blown off, isn't it? So this is what the digital ID, one of the things it wants to do. It just wants to make sure that, you know, the government and the state have got all the weights and measures, and they can quantify everything, and they can pacify everyone, and they can eradicate hate speech and the necessity for wars and this, that and the other, X, Y and Z. So we don't know all the variables, people, and you know, there are some facets of it which could be quite dystopian, but the universe has a way of bringing balance about, and so it's going to be swings and roundabouts. It's not all going to be a dystopia. It's not all going to be George Orwell's 1984. It's probably going to be more like Aldous Huxley's A Brave New World, where people are just very, very happy because they've got no responsibility and there's something in the water. Yeah, they just puts a smile on their faces. So it could be a lot of things, but if you are a cosmic warrior, a cosmic explorer, then you're just like, well, bring it on. Whatever it will be, it will be. Are we going to end up in this like Terminator environment where the AI is wanting to kill all the human beings and we're all scratching around in rubble and eating rats? Is that how it's going to be? Well, for me, it doesn't matter. I've been in times of my life in very, very, very dark places, people, and you know, I've found solace within them all. Why? Because I have always known that I am something far greater than the human being, and I'm looking at the experience of the human being thinking, this is a real blast, this is a real fucking blast, this is so bizarre, look at all the things I'm learning, look at how my metal is being tested, and if I can retain my fortification and my true inner strength, knowing what I am cosmic God consciousness, well, they can throw anything at the human being. And so that's where I'm coming from, people, if any of you can get your heads around that. Now I just want to read you a little bit from this book that I've been speaking to you about, because it's very relevant. And this book is this one again. René Guénon's The Reign of Quantity and The Sign of the Times. Now, this book was written in 1947, and he saw the writing on the wall. Why? Well, because he had 2,000 years of writing on the wall before him. And so now, 80 years on, well, we can see a little bit more of the writing on the wall. So let's just read a little bit, shall we? The conclusion that emerges clearly from all this is that uniformity, in order that it may be possible, presupposes beings deprived of all qualities and reduced to nothing more than simple numerical units. Also, that no such uniformity is ever in fact realizable, while the result of all the efforts made to realize it, notably in the human domain, can only be to rob beings more or less completely of their proper qualities, thus turning them into something as nearly as possible like mere machines. And machines, the typical product of the modern world, are the very things that represent in the highest degree attained up till now the predominance of quantity over quality. From a social viewpoint, democratic and egalitarian, conceptions tend towards exactly the same end, for according to them all individuals are equivalent to one another. This idea carries with it the absurd supposition that everyone is equally well fitted for anything whatsoever, though nature provides no example of any such equality, for the reasons already given, since it would imply nothing but a complete similitude between individuals. But it is obvious that, in the name of this assumed equality, which is one of the topsy-turvy ideals most dear to the modern world, individuals are in fact directed towards becoming as nearly alike one to another as nature allows. And this is the first place by the attempt to impose a uniform education on everyone. It is no less obvious that differences of aptitude cannot, in spite of everything, be entirely suppressed, so that a uniform education will not give exactly the same results for all. But it is all too true that, although it cannot confer on anyone qualities that he does not possess, it is on the contrary very well fitted to suppress in everyone all possibilities above the common level. Thus the levelling always works downward. Indeed, it could not work in any other way, being itself only an expression of the tendency towards the lowest. This is towards pure quantity, situated as it is at a level lower than all corporeal manifestations, not only below the degree occupied by the most rudimentary of living beings, but also below that occupied by what our contemporaries have a habit of calling lifeless matter. Though even this last, since it is manifested to our senses, is still far from being wholly denuded of quality. Now, what basically he's saying, and of course to really grasp it you have to have read the whole book, is that the world is hell-bent, humanity, human consciousness is hell-bent on quantifying absolutely everything. It reduces everything to quantity, and so you've got time and space and matter being quantified, human consciousness being quantified, all the resources, all the elements, absolutely everything is measured and quantified, isn't it? And this is why in not the too distant past, the main body of the scientific world were of the opinion just to shut up and calculate. Stop thinking about consciousness and the numinous and all different sorts of things which our minds tell us are actually in existence. If we can't calculate it, as far as we're concerned, it isn't of interest to us and it doesn't matter. You see, it doesn't matter. So what they are saying, what Rene Guénon is saying, that what they've been trying to do is, through the education system and through the propaganda and everything, is to make everyone as similar as it is practicable. And even though the same education format will not give the same education to the individual, it's kind of enough to allow people to know the difference between what they're supposed to know and do and what they're not supposed to know and do, because they've been told X, Y and Z, not A, B, C. You see? And so therefore it has always been about the hive mind, people, and they have been, you know, heading towards this for forever, you know, for at least 2,000 years. We can see that from, you know, the Roman empire days, and we can see that you know, so many facets of that power structure 2,000 years ago is very obvious to us today. And so it seems like it's the same energy field which have been passing the baton. And of course, you know, 2,000 years since the Romans to now the American Senate, well, there's been a lot of people which have been passing the baton, and yet the energy still persists, and it's still this thing that wants to take control over the whole world, the whole cosmos, and it's this desire to quantify. And, you know, it's very, very difficult to know what it is. You could say, well, it might be cosmic spirit. If the cosmos is written in binary, then its innate very nature is to be calculated. To calculate itself, if everything is written in zeros and ones, that language can be structured, and it is a structure, isn't it? And so therefore everything that comes out of that consciousness, which is going to be born into the soup of quantity, things being quantified. And so that's what the world wants to do. It wants to quantify everything. It needs to quantify everything, because if we're going to survive, you know, with increasing the population and more demand is coming on the species, then absolutely everything needs to be quantified. And the human heart needs to be quantified, the human mind needs to be quantified. There's nothing that is going to escape this quantifying. And so this is the essence of the Borg, bringing everything into the hive mind. This is the essence of AI, bringing everything into the AI hive mind. And this is the essence of politics and politicians and global leaders, human beings, people. This is the essence of human beings. They want to bring everything into a structure. Nobody likes the idea of chaos. Nobody's going to be voting for chaos. If we had a ballot now in relation to who wants chaos or order, who's going to go for chaos? Who's going to do it? And so this is where the world's going. This is what the world's offering. It's offering another run up on the ladder, heading towards order, away from chaos. Because, you know, in an ideal world, we would all, you know, just be planting foods in our own gardens, and, you know, we'd have chickens and goats, and everything would be wonderful. Yeah, that's called a utopia. And nobody would be sick, and nobody would want more than they've got, and nobody would have any more than the next person, and so there wouldn't be jealousy or envy, or no, everything would be perfect. Well, that sounds like the Garden of Eden, when everyone was living in ignorance. But now we're more sophisticated, and you know, there's a whole lot more to being a human being. And so all of these facets we need to quantify. Look, you can watch videos. I don't know what any of you do, but I watch an enormous amount of varying videos, and I see people wrestling with human consciousness and cosmic consciousness, and all the huge amount of variables which we consider phenomenon in this world, in this cosmos, that we have to live with, we have to work within. We don't know what they are, where they are, you know, how they manifest, but we know they're there. You know, we've got things like consciousness, we've got things like intuition, we've got attributes like love and hate and jealousy and envy and the desire to kill and all different sorts of things, haven't we? We've got all that. All that needs quantifying, people. It all needs to be measured, it all needs to be accounted for, and it all needs to be forecast. And so we're going to enter into a minority report. It's going to be like that, it has to be like that. Because AI absolutely demands it. Now, significant to notice, people, about this book is that there are places in this book where René Guénon says exactly that. He's saying, look, all that said and done about, you know, something in the human being that is you know, hell-bent on quantifying everything. He says it wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the fact that the cosmos seems to require that too. And he was saying, look what's happening in this day and age, you know, with all the machines and everything like that. When he's writing this book in 1945, 45 I think it was, you know, just at the end of the Second World War, look at all the factories, all the machinery, you know, billions and billions and billions of items of machinery being produced. Wow, it must have looked formidable, you know, in such a short period of time, how the human being became completely automated and a part of the machines. And so he said, well, look, if we go back 1,000 years, could this have happened 1,000 years ago? Could this this pull towards unity happened 1,000 years ago? And he was speculating, well, because it never happened, then it couldn't have happened. Because if it could have happened, it would have happened. And so it can happen now, and it is happening now. And so therefore, it must be in line with what the cosmic order has in line for us. You see, order out of chaos, people. And you look around, you look at the stars and everything, and from a layman's perspective it seems very orderly, and we're told by cosmologists that it's very orderly. All the planets, you know, have their place, everything has its place, every single atom has its place, every single photon of light seems to have its place in the cosmos, like it all knows what it's doing, like a finely tuned clock, as one philosopher says. Well, in this finely tuned clock, don't you think that that would be working its fine tuning on all manifestations? And so this is why I say the world's perfect. I can't see it being anything else. If you go back 10,000 years, it was perfect then, and 5,000 years ago it was perfect then. At this particular period in time, it's perfect now, because consciousness is expanding, global consciousness is expanding, human consciousness is expanding. We're all heading into new territory. We know not where we're going as far as humans, but maybe the cosmos knows a little bit more than we do. Or maybe the cosmos is just winging it also. Maybe the cosmos, due to its expansion, is just learning as it goes. And its consciousness is expanding the same as our consciousness. We're expanding and learning about ourselves together. The cosmos is learning about itself, and we're learning about ourselves as shards of cosmic consciousness, just mini-me's, you see. And so this is what I'm saying in these videos, people. And for those of you that are still vehemently opposed to the digital chips or the digital IDs and the hive mind, well, I mean, it's just a facet of human nature which pertains to fear. And old dogs. You see, old dogs, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. And science goes forward, funeral by funeral. Well, human pioneering goes forward funeral by funeral also. So if we just look at our times now, in, let's say, most certainly 100 years, there won't be a single one of us left now, and we will have passed the baton into our forebears, not our forebears, our prodigy. So we don't know what they're going to be like. I don't know what my daughter's kids are going to be functioning like in the world that she gives birth to. No idea. We don't have an idea, do we? But I'm open and free enough just to allow it to be. It's just going to be whatever it's going to be. And you see, if the cosmos didn't have a hand in what's going on now, then nothing could be possible. It has to be made possible by the cosmos, because the cosmos has all of these variables. And when you listen to scientists and they speak about, well, the fundamental things of the cosmos is time, space and matter, well, I mean, that's just the very, 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 very beginning. Because from time and space and matter, you're going to need quantity, then you're going to need quality, and then you're going to need all the myriad variables which come out of that, all the things that pertain to time and space and matter and quantity and quality. Well, before you know it, we find ourselves looking at the world from the perspective of the conscious cosmos, and we go, wow, we're an accumulation of time and space and matter and quality and quantity and all the different myriad of variables which we've coined and invented. Well, we're it. It is it. It's just one. And our consciousness, is consciousness, and we all share it. And so we could probably assume that our consciousness is cosmic consciousness. And so we're all one big hive mind in any case, people, aren't we? It's just that lots of you, like I say, you're too narrow-minded, you're too myopic in your thinking, and you're too fear-based. Because if you weren't fear-based, then you wouldn't have anything to worry about at all. Now, lots of you guys know, I've been in prisons on 2 continents, and, I've been shot in my bed, and I've had lots of terrible things which I've experienced, which I wouldn't discount the great benefits to all of them. Every single one of them, was just a fantastic experience, which I wouldn't want to negate. I wouldn't want to not have had. They have given me so much, and it makes me what I am today, and I'm very happy with what I am today. The fortitude and the conscious expansion and all the rest of it. And so, I am a product of the cosmos, the same as you are. And so just accept your lot. Just embrace every single thing that happens to you, because if you look at every single thing with a positive mind, then you'll retain that positivity, and you will benefit greatly from it. If you consider yourself a victim, then, well, it's all going pear-shaped, because one facet of victimhood leads on to another, to another, to another, and you just end up going further and further down until you're just wallowing around in your own self-pity. Why me? Why is the cosmos such a terrible place? But if you just change your mindset, the cosmos is a fantastic adventure. That's what I'm speaking about, people. And so maybe you want to embrace the adventure.